Good afternoon, everybody. This afternoon, I'm going to be talking to a very special guest called Steve Newton. Now, Steve and I were meant to meet a couple of years ago when I was on a radio show in my local town, but it didn't happen. And I often wonder sometimes, why don't these things happen? Or we can sit and dwell on these things of, why didn't that happen? Or why didn't I do this? Or I could have done this better. Or I could have done it differently. But I always say, things happen when they're meant to happen at the perfect time. So in your life right now, if you're thinking about something that you wish you could have done differently, or maybe it didn't go to the plan that you wished, and you think, oh, lots and lots of thoughts going over your head, lots of regrets, maybe lots of I wish I did, or I wish I hadn't done this, or if only. Stop it for a moment. And in this episode of Breaking Patterns, we're first of all going to listen to a little bit of music by Denise Wise, because that's the theme of our show, to break those patterns from the past that have been holding you back. And within this moments with Denise, think about something in your life that maybe you're holding on to in your thoughts, and it keeps coming over and over and thinking, if only I had done this differently, or if this, or if that, or could I have done that? Just bring something to mind. If you've got a paper and pen handy, you could even write it down. But think about something in your mind that you keep dwelling on. Because if you keep holding your mind in that mindset, it can't get beyond that. It experiences all the emotions that you went through when you're in that stuff back there. And that's not helpful to this moment. So I'm going to put this beautiful bit of music on by Denise and have a think about, what pattern do I need to let go of? What do I need to let go of from my past that I think is holding me back? Okay, so just closing your eyes for a moment and going into that quiet space in your mind, just gently breathing. And think about, what do I need to let go of? Gently breathe, letting that stress go. Let go of any thoughts that come in. Just let it go. Because you're not only doing it for you, you're doing it for your family, for your children, for the people around you. You're doing it for your life. It's holding you back. It doesn't belong to you anymore. Take a moment when we finish this call to write down what's holding you back right now, the way you see it. Often those patterns are ancestral patterns that we've inherited. Break that pattern down. It could be even an archetype pattern that's come down through the generations. If it's holding you back, keeping you in a place of disharmony, it's not right for you right now. Let's learn from it and let's move on. What would you put in your mind instead? Maybe an affirmation which says, I am back in control of my life now. I shall be in control of my life. All that I need is coming my way. Hold that thought. I shall be in control of my life. I am in control of my life today. I can do this. I can turn this around now. I can do this. I will do this. I am ready to change that pattern now, and things are falling gently into place. Thank you, Denise. And that's the theme behind our series, to invite in guests who have maybe been through something in their lives and understand what it feels like to be stuck in those patterns, and now are turning it around with whatever they feel is their right message. So it's turning their mess into a message. Your mess isn't there for a reason. The place that you feel stuck isn't there for a reason. It's a big lesson in your life that you need. But if you've come to your surface and it's causing you disharmony, this is your time to turn it around. This isn't the time to say, let it go with no reason. Let it go with the intention that you understand it, the blessings within it, and now you're ready to step up. And you are ready to take control of your life. My guest will be joining me very, very shortly. And I'd just like to say, just sit back and listen to his story, because he's actually chosen to step in and do something about the way he was feeling, the way life had been going for him. And he's turned what he went through into his message in a very, very special way. Be back with you in a moment. So, good afternoon again, everybody. And I've got my special guest has joined me this afternoon, and a very warm welcome to you, Steve. How are you today?
I'm very good. Thanks for having me. It's very kind of you.
Thank you. No, I'm so grateful that you're here, because we were meant to meet a couple of years ago, weren't we?
Yes, that's right. And then all this pandemic thing started, didn't it? And we just didn't get the chance. So
I know. But don't you think, Steve, though, that sometimes when things don't happen, they always happen at the perfect time?
Yes, I do. I think there's a lot about synchronicity, isn't there? And there's a lot about things happen at the time that they're meant to happen. Simply that. So
absolutely. And often plan B turns out to be a better plan.
Yes. Yes. The benefit of experience and hindsight. I think that's what that's called.
Yeah. I think we've got the wisdom that, maybe we didn't have back there a couple of years ago. And now we're in a better place, so we can go, right, let's bring that in. And I would say to anybody, if you have actually got regrets about something that didn't happen in the past, and I just did a little mini meditation before we come in, remember, keep recognizing when those patterns from your past are holding on to you, or when you're holding on to something from the past and it's holding you back. Because if it didn't happen back then, it's because it wasn't meant to.
That's right. And we're always forever changing anyway, and we change on our experiences. So I think that's right.
Yeah. And I'm so grateful that you come back into my life at this moment in time, because this is a divine time for us. Because I do believe that, obviously, with what's happened over the last 18 months, a lot of people are really struggling with their mental health.
Yeah, really big time. Yeah. This kind of segregation away from people. I think for me, the whole value of community is suddenly cut, because quite often when we're in our daily lives, we moan about people, we complain about the neighbours, we complain about the people we work with or whatever. And what happens over time is when that's suddenly removed, because you don't have to deal with these people, you then realise the value of those relationships.
Absolutely.
And because it's such a change in ourselves, particularly because we may have had to stay at home, we may have had to curtail our hobbies, going out and eating and all those kind of things, we've then had to have a new set of skills to deal with being with us, right? Being with ourselves.
Yeah.
And so I've encountered quite a lot of people that have been really struggling with that recently.
Yeah, I can imagine. And I think, the majority of us don't realise and I think I've got to generalise here, but I'm going to go with it anyway, because some people might disagree with me. But I think the general public don't realise how unhappy they are with themselves until they stop and realise they're on their own.
That's right. I think some people are very happy with them in themselves, but I think that's because they've set a routine, and being in isolation and being in lockdown is a dramatic change to people's lifestyle.
Yeah.
Now, that wasn't something that you or I decided. It was something that happened to us. It was a circumstance. And it's how you deal with that. And not everybody's equipped to deal with such a dramatic change so quickly.
I know. Yeah, I agree with you, Steve. And I think looking back, before this happened, I was very, very busy. You know, I had this like superpower running here, there, and everywhere. And I didn't realize how those things around me were what were making me happy. I think I was happy, but I didn't know if, you know, when I come into the pandemic, if I was actually happy in myself, because those things have been taken away. And that was a whole new ball game for me.
That's it. And look, what happened with the pandemic is it's a yardstick. Suddenly you had this life that you either loved or you didn't love or whatever. You were maybe ticking along. And then there's such a dramatic change. You've now got a yardstick to compare it to. And you said, well, hang on, that was then, this is now. And then people are getting anxious because they don't know what the future is. So if you were somebody that, you know, felt that you were depressed, you're normally, and I'm not, again, generalist comment, but normally depression is about something that's happened in the past, which has led up to that point. Being anxious or having anxiety is worrying about the future, something that hasn't happened yet, or something that is about to happen that you're not too sure of what the outcome's going to be. So for me, when I'm talking to people about mental health awareness, which is something I am really quite passionate about, I try and get people to live in the moment. And to live in the moment is quite often can be a very, very innocent catchphrase. Oh, live in the present, live in the moment. And actually people don't know how to do that. It's very easy to say, but people don't know how to do it. And so when I, you know, my track's coming out tomorrow, the 23rd, and, you know, and I know our podcast is going to go out on a Sunday, but the music that I'm creating is to try to get people just to listen for 4.5, 5 minutes and be in the moment with that music. And when you're in that moment, you're not worrying about what's happening tomorrow. You're not worrying about what's happened in the past, but you're giving your mind and your brain a rest for 4.5 minutes. That's not long. So you can listen to the whole albums if you want to for an hour, that's fine. But it's not long, but it does give you some respite. And I would recommend anybody, even if you don't like my music, but find some music that gets you into that relaxed state.
Absolutely. And that's such a valuable message. And I think music is one of those things that kind of unites us all. You know, if you've got your favorite track, you go into your own little heart, what I call your heart space, where you are in a place of joy.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Yeah.
And you don't need to justify why you like that piece of music. It just feels right to you.
Exactly. It's what triggers you, right? It's in a positive way.
Yeah. And that's, you know, that's the choice that we make. But I think, you know, when we're so busy, often we don't make those choices. We let life just take over, don't we?
That's right. And it's exactly the point you've just made. It's because we're busy.
Yeah.
We don't allow ourselves time to rest. And when we, you know, if you work in an office or you do something else, what you tend to do at lunchtime, sometimes sit at your desk and eat your dinner or your lunch and then click and play silly games on the computer. That's not really giving your brain a rest.
No.
So you kind of, you know, I very much encourage people at the moment to get outside and, you know, be with a tree, be in the park, you know, be on the beach, breathe in the air. You know, that clears the cobwebs away and just gives you that moment of respite.
It does. It really does make a difference. And I always say to people, if you can separate your day into sections, if something goes a bit pear-shaped or something's upsetting you, something's bothering you, you've got that space within. That happens, you know, that's that moment in time. That's that season for now. And the next season, the next moment in your time, you could have a different outlook inside as well, because you've actually took the time out to say, I'm not going to let this bother me. I'm not going to let it get on top of me. I'm not going to let this stress me out. I'm going to walk away from it. I'm going to take that 5 minutes out, 4.5 minutes if it's a beautiful piece of music, and I'm going to go to a quieter place in myself so that I can see things more clearly.
That's right. Yeah.
Thank you.
Valuable piece of advice, then.
Yeah. And Steve, for yourself, love, I want to ask you an obvious story. It's like, have you ever suffered with mental health?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So my history is that I was a police officer many years ago in Yarmouth, in Great Yarmouth, funnily enough, when I was very young. And then I went away to university and traveled the world, had very great experiences. And I got involved in some really stressful projects. I built a couple of hospitals in Turkey and that kind of thing. They sound exotic, but actually what it was is that it was a real brain dance, because I was dealing with people in Japan, which was a one-time cycle, and other people in America, which is on another time cycle. So I was working 18-hour days to try and talk to everybody, and it was very intense. And I found that I was not feeling worthy. I was feeling very tired. I was feeling very down on myself.
Yeah.
And I realized it was because I wasn't spending time for me. And it's a bit like racing a car at 100 miles an hour and never stopping to do any pit stops. You know, eventually the car is going to break or you're going to crash.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I did a couple of things. First of all, I was very lucky that I kind of said to somebody, so, do you know, I actually think I'm a bit depressed. And this guy said to me, he said, yeah, he said, you are. He said, I thought you knew that. And I went, well, no, I didn't. But that trigger, just that sentence, kind of made me go, yeah, I need to do something about this now, because I really shouldn't be feeling this way. And I'm a bit out of whack. I'm a bit out of harmony.
Yeah.
And so I decided to find something which was relaxing. Now, I've been doing meditation for years at that point, but I'd stopped doing it because the job took over. So, you know, yeah, I knew how to meditate, but I just wasn't doing it. And I was eating junk food as well because I didn't have time to eat properly. So that kind of gave me an out of whack feeling as well. And so what I did was I picked up an instrument. I wanted to learn to play an instrument. So I picked up Native American style flutes and I started to learn to play that. And when I play, I kind of go into that zone, into that piece. And so what's happening is all I'm doing is I'm in that moment in the music.
Yeah.
So playing for me was great. And then a year later, I released my first album called Painted Faces, which was out in 2010, I think.
Yeah.
And that was very successful. Lots of people commented how good it was. A record company purchased it, and it went all around the world. But the things that why I gauge it as being successful is because I had people coming back to me saying it helped me with my mental health. It helped me with my physical health. It helped me sleep. And then I kind of, it clicked in my brain then. I said, wow, maybe this is something that I was meant to do, right? I've had this experience of feeling not great. I've done something about it. I've found something which makes me feel 150% better than I was. Yeah. And yeah, I still have down moments now and again, but you know, I pick a flute up. I listen to some music. You know, that's what I do. So, yeah, I mean that is my story. So, and you know, even now, sometimes when I maybe have an argument with somebody that I need to have an argument with because we need to get a job done, I still sometimes feel a bit down. But I now have a series of coping mechanisms to recognize this is not a good space to be in. So go and play a flute, go and walk in nature, go and spend some time breathing in the fresh air or being on the beach. And those kinds of things help me to put things in perspective. The things that I'm being anxious about, I shouldn't really be anxious about. And the things that I'm feeling down about gives me clarity to find the positive in it. So, and all of that, I would call it a maintenance. It's a maintenance service, right? You maintain your mind. Your mind affects your body. So, you know, if you get upset stomachs or through stress or stuff like this. And so if I'd known this 20, 30 years ago, maybe I wouldn't have had so many, I don't have lots of issues, but, you know, I would have perhaps calendarized it, if you like, specific time for meditation, for music, for these kinds of things, because I think they're so important to everybody.
Yeah, absolutely, Steve. I totally agree. But then maybe you didn't know back then. And, you know, I do believe, Steve, that we go through experiences for a reason. And I think a part of our life is about learning. Another part is about understanding. And the next part is about sharing.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And I think that's really right, Dawn, because I think if I hadn't have experienced that, I would probably be very blasé about it. Oh, well, that's what happens to other people.
Yeah.
You know, and I think sometimes that is how mental health is viewed. However, recently, specifically with the pandemic, mental health as a subject has really come to the fore.
Yes.
You know, lots of offices, lots of businesses, lots of people are recognizing that mental health is a serious issue. And you know, I wanted to do something about that, and that's why I've made a recent track for it. So
brilliant, well done, love. And you know, we do, if that's okay with you, I'd like to play that piece of music for you.
Yeah, please do.
Because first of all, does your piece of music, does it have a name?
Yeah, so my track is called Two Worlds.
Yes.
And let me just give you a little bit of background with it, because I work with Norwich City College on their Mental Health Awareness Week. And I've done that for the past 2 years. And I've been doing meditation workshops, sound journey workshops, relaxation techniques, all this kind of thing, and talking about mental health. And I play music for them, obviously. And but this year I had a guy called Alex Holmes, who's a student. He's 18 years of age, and he did a film project. And we collaborated, and we've actually got a music video, my first music video. I'd done this piece of music, and I really didn't know why I'd done this piece of music. I had created it. It kind of got a little bit of a city vibe, a little bit of a buzz to it. It was a bit busy, you know, and I thought, I don't know why. And I called it something completely different. And then when I spoke to Alex, he wrote a script for the music video. And when I read it, the penny dropped. And I realized that this was about two worlds. It's about being in this world of stress, you know, which I've kind of called it the black and white sort of city world. And it goes into this natural piece, into this sort of back to nature. And that's what it's about.
Beautiful.
Trying to get people back into the moment.
Yeah, and I think that's such an important thing, to come back into the moment whenever you're feeling stressed. And I'm going to turn this up now because I've got it gently play in the background, just so that we can enjoy this, and then you can tell us where we can get hold of it.
Sure.
Got to work out how my technology works. Go on it. Go. Oops, hang on, it's gone the wrong way. Don't you just love technology?
Love it.
I'll figure it out in a minute. Yeah, don't worry. I'll get there before the end of the track. I can guarantee that. So if anyone's sitting listening to this, just take a moment, just close your eyes and listen to the tune. And think about things in your life that you're ready to let go of right now. Is that loud enough for you, Steve?
It's fine, yeah.
It's truly beautiful. Just taking a moment, everybody, just breathing into your body and just feeling that calm coming over you. So I breathe in peace and I breathe out calm. That is beautiful. That's so beautiful. And
Thank you.
I will say, I will tell you a little story afterwards, but could be the answer to my prayer that I've been looking for.
Oh, that makes me so happy.
It really does. And maybe we'll share the story now, because I do believe in divine timing. And when I first started doing my podcasts, I had this idea in my head and I didn't know how it was going to come together. But over the time, it's getting a bit better as I go. Some of them I look back and think, oh dear me, that was an oh dear moment. Okay.
But that's learning. That's learning, right? That's learning. So.
It is. But as we're going, at the beginning, I saw a piece of music at the beginning, which I've chosen Denise Wise's piece of music, which is about changing patterns. And that's obviously the theme of the story of our podcasts. And in the center, I was going to do a little mini meditation with a gentle piece of music in the background, but I didn't know where that was coming from.
Right.
And then at the end, finishing off with whatever feels appropriate. So maybe an upbeat song or something like that. I haven't created that one yet, but I'm just thinking maybe somewhere down the road we could talk about that, Steve.
Yeah, why not? Why not? Absolutely.
Because that is beautiful.
Music, Native American flutes are kind of limited because they usually have 6 holes in them. So the scale of the flute is not huge. Yeah. And I really, because I've been talking to young people, and look, mental health affects everybody. I don't, it's not just young people, so I want to make that clear. But what I was hearing from the students is similar things that I experienced when I was younger.
Yeah.
And to when you play Native American style flutes, and particularly the new age type of music or the world's music, it tends to be a bit plinky plonky. It tends to have rain in the background, and I've done all of those kinds of things, but I kind of wanted to give it a little bit of a rock feel to it, a kind of a little bit more that's going to appeal to people that don't normally listen to this genre of music. They don't normally listen to it. So I really wanted to try and push the limits of the instrument, and to give it that kind of grungy sort of electric guitar thing in the background, which
you've definitely achieved that, Steve. That is beautiful. And I did listen to it last night and again this morning, because I just thought, wow, this is almost like a meditation, but you're not having to kind of go to that conscious thought of meditating.
Absolutely. I'm so glad you said that, because lots of people think about meditation that you kind of got to go to sleep and you kind of got to do that, and that's really not what I want to advocate, because listening, just closing your eyes, breathing, and listening to music for 4.5 minutes, that's a meditation. Right? That's getting off the wheel of stress for a few moments. You don't need to be asleep, you don't need to be going on, you don't need to do any of that. If you do, fine, but you don't need to. So just listen, just spend 4 or 5 minutes, just take time out. And that's what this track's about.
Excellent. Well, I think you've nailed it. Absolutely nailed it, Steve. And please tell me, how can people get hold of this?
So with the pandemic, I normally used to sell my albums with hard copy CDs.
Yes.
But this is only available electronically. So you can get it on Spotify, you can get it on Amazon, you can get it on Deezer. So you can download it if you want to have it on your smartphones or your laptops, or you can listen to it by streaming it. And streaming's great, isn't it? Because Spotify now for everybody is free. You don't have to sign, you don't have to pay for it. You just get adverts. But yes, you can get it at those places. And the other thing I would say is, if you want to hear a little bit more about the background of this track, then on Saturday the 24th on my YouTube channel, there will be the music video. And if you watch the music video, you will really get the meaning behind it. Okay, because it's about a suited gentleman who's stressed, and it goes through this journey of the track, and he gets back to nature, and gets the sun shining on his face. And that's really what the message is. Take those few minutes, watch, be involved for those 4.5 minutes. I
love that. And I can see that in my mind without even seeing your video. Okay. And your YouTube channel, is it under Steve Newton?
Yeah, Stephen with a V, Stephen Newton. Just look me up. You'll see a little, what we call a little Cocapelli man in black and white, and you'll see a picture of me on there as well. So
excellent. Thank you. Thank you. And did you say 2 o'clock?
2 o'clock?
Did you say 2 o'clock?
Well, the YouTube video will be out on the 24th.
Okay. Let me
The
write that
track is
down.
out on the 23rd, so you can get those. You can listen to the track on its own on the 23rd. The music video will be out on the 24th.
Okay.
And that'll be midnight from the 24th, because you can go and click on a Premiere link in there, and it will automatically come live if you want to. So I can send you those links, Dawn, and maybe, if you when you publish, maybe you want to put the links in or something like that.
Okay, lovely. Okay, and I think I'll put this up on my YouTube channel as well, because I think
brilliant. Yeah,
there's a lot of people out there don't know where to turn to.
So it's interesting, because there's lots of people out there that will teach you how to meditate, but they teach you how to meditate for a certain purpose.
Yeah.
And that's not always what you need. I talk a lot about mindful meditation,
yeah.
which is, taking your shoes and socks off and going walking in grass, or going to the beach if you can get there, and wiggling your toes in the water and the sand, or, eating a piece, if you can't get out, eat a piece of fruit for a minute and just try and taste all the textures and the flavors and just be in the moment. That again is a form of meditation. So all of these things you can do. The thing I've tried to do is give you a piece of music to support you with that.
I love that. I'm going to write this down because I'm looking at a piece that I can promote you with. Music to support you. Because I am one of these people. I have brain waves and great inspirations. They pop in, and a second later it's gone.
Oh, dear.
And I used to think that was
a
problem.
With that. I don't think you're alone with that. I think we all do that.
But I think, if you take a moment, anybody, who's listening to us today, if you take a moment, just if you have an inspiration, pop it down.
Yeah.
Because often when we go into stressy times and things that are stressing us out, and sometimes we don't have a choice because it's a way of life that we need to maintain.
That's right. Yeah.
If you've got something which could be a trigger, and it could be just a small piece of music that you've got in your earphones or on your phone, and you could take even a minute out just to go, or you just connect with the bar of that music. Sometimes that can be your anchor, your trigger to actually make you feel better.
Absolutely.
So, wow, I'm so pleased that you come to speak to us today, Steve, because I think music is definitely a way forward, because we don't need to explain it. We just need to connect with it. That's perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. And, if Two Worlds, as I say, is out on Friday the 23rd, but I have, you can see behind me, there are 3 music albums. Painted Faces was my first, Dreamwalking was my second, and Standing Circles was my third. And I won a Global Music Award for Standing Circles. So somebody liked it somewhere.
Yeah.
So if you get a chance, have a listen. If you want to get a hard copy CD of those, then, all you need to do is message me through my website or through any of my social media. You'll find me. So
Excellent.
that'd be great.
Thank you so much, Steve. And can I just ask a question? Well, I've got 100 questions, but I think we'll save that for another day. Okay. You've kind of inspired me to think of things. I think, can I just share something? I thought that just popped in my mind. And for anyone who's new to what I'd call self-healing, often we're waiting for something to trigger us to feel better. But when we actually go into that quiet mind, in that quiet stillness, like listen to your music, the beauty of that is your mind goes into your deeper conscious mind, and the intuitive ideas which can help to change things come in.
Yes. So my answer to this is, quite a lot of people think about meditation as emptying your mind and having nothing in it. That's a mistake.
Yeah.
Don't try and empty your mind, because I can tell you mine is cluttered with everything. I've got so much junk in my mind. There's no point trying to empty it. I'd be there for years.
Yeah.
But so when you look at meditation, quite often people say start to breathe, which is what you said earlier when we listened. So what you're doing is you're concentrating on the breathing. So you're occupying your mind with a single task, breathing in and out. So you're not emptying it, you're doing something. And it's the same with music. If you occupy your mind with music, you're doing something. So I would say the opposite. Don't try to empty your mind.
Yeah.
Give your mind something to do, but give it one thing. Don't give it 20.
Good point. I shall take aboard that. I shall take that on board. And do you think, Steve, no, thank you for sharing, because I just feel like you've kind of triggered off a lot of thinking now, and I'm sure anyone listening to that, I just want to share something which I know is really important. Your mind cannot think of 2 things together. So if you're focusing on stress or something that's distressing you, or your anxiety, or what you believe is going on right now, your mind cannot get from that place there to that place of joy. And I think
It's
what I
hard.
experienced with your music yesterday, Steve, when I was listening to it, is it was almost like a lull. My mind went into what I'd call a lull, like as if I was sitting by the beach or sitting under a tree. It had that same rhythmic feel of that calm peace coming over me.
Absolutely, and the rhythm of the tracks are very important, because
Yes.
everything we do is rhythm.
Yes.
Breathing is a rhythm, heartbeat is a rhythm. And so when we say we're out of balance, it means that we've got a rhythm that's not really working with our energy or our body or whatever. And that's why you like certain tracks but you don't like other tracks. Okay, and that's normal. You can listen to all of my music, there'll be 2 or 3 tracks you go, oh, I can't stand that, and that's fine, because that one's not for you. And then there'll be others who go, oh, I really like that one. That's one for you, right? So you're absolutely right, you have to find rhythm.
And find what's right for you. Keep experimenting. Don't, just because one piece of music doesn't work, try something else. Or just because one musician doesn't work, please try something else, because you're always then giving yourself a choice to go from that stress place to, there's an option here, there's a choice.
There's always a way. There's always a way to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think a lot of the time, Steve, I don't know about you, but in my past, and people I work with, a lot of the time we feel stressed or anxious because we don't feel we've got a choice but to other than feel this.
Yeah, we get bound by obligation, don't we?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Okay. So one question that's come up is, with your music, do you think that would be helpful for children as well, like with special needs and people who are distressed or angry?
Definitely. So I have friends all over the world, and quite often people say to me things like, I have a youngster, they're toddlers, they won't sleep, or I have teenagers that won't go to bed until really late. And I say, yeah, just put my music on in the background. I said, you don't have to tell them. I said, it's your music, you listen to it. And all of a sudden they get to a certain point and they're like this, and they want to sleep. And I've had a number of successes where that happens. And also I've had youngsters, when I used to put up little YouTube video clips, they put it on repeat because they love listening to the sound of the flute. So absolutely. It's the same with any music. It's not for everybody. Some kids will go, oh, I don't like that. But a lot of kids will love it. And play it, please.
Absolutely. And I think also with music, there's a time for everything. So one piece of music might resonate now in your life, where in a month's time you might need something else.
That's right.
Absolutely.
That's right.
So tell us once again, where can we find your music?
So it's on Spotify, it's on Amazon, it's on Deezer. All of these places you can listen to. I will also put it on Bandcamp tomorrow. So if you want to do that, you can download it if you wish, or you can listen it via streaming. So yeah.
Excellent. Well done, love. Thank you. And are you doing this? Obviously, it's to help people with mental health problems or who are feeling distress or whatever we attach, what we attach to it, that can help people come to.
That's right. Yeah.
Is the aim for the future, is this to bring people together, or is it just for the music to enlighten people?
My aim with it is to just make people aware that they're not alone. Okay. There are lots of people that suffer from this. People that, Painted Faces. The reason that my original album's called Painted Faces is because it's a painted face that people present to the world. And when you listen to the music, I want people to take off their painted face and find their true selves. That's why it's called Painted Faces, because we present to the world what we want them to see. And the thing is with mental health is that we don't want anyone to see that. We don't want people to know of the inner struggles that we go through, because we're embarrassed, because it kind of comes across as saying that we're weak, and we're not actually, because we're fighting every day, and we're probably the stronger people because we're still here. We're still here and we're still doing it. And so what I'd say to people is, don't ever think that you're the only person suffering from mental health issues, because you're not. And there is always someone out there that you can speak to who will be going through something similar. Reach out to somebody, talk to somebody. This whole pandemic that cut the community off is why mental health blew up, because you didn't have anybody. You couldn't talk to anybody. People wouldn't notice it because they weren't in your presence, you weren't in their presence. So talk to people, listen to music, and look, if you really struggle, reach out to me because I'll talk to you.
Okay, thank you, Steve. And I really, really appreciate that, love. And thank you so much for your time today. And I think actually from this, maybe there's some other things that we could explore as well. And we could do it like mini podcasts for different things.
Sounds good.
But if you could just stay on the line for a moment, I'm going to just say goodbye to everybody, or say goodbye to Steve for a moment online, and then we'll come back and have a chat in a moment, Steve. But thank you so much. And I am so looking forward to listening to your music. And
thanks for your time.
Yeah, that's definitely on my playlist now. And thank you. Thanks very much, now. Thank you. Well, that was the lovely Stephen Newton. And go to his YouTube channel and find his beautiful music, because the last track he's done, which is called Two Wells, is to help people with mental health. It resonates on the mind chakra. Okay. If you don't understand anything about chakras, anything about healing, just go over and listen. Give yourself 4.5 minutes of prime time where you are just listening to what is right for you. When you start to honor yourself, when you start to value yourself, put that value on you, you can change your world. And if you're feeling depressed, you're feeling anxious, you're feeling whatever you're feeling right now, it's because you've gotten out of harmony with who you should be. So if you're looking at the bigger picture, this is who you should be. You should be up here, up with your soul chakra, knowing who you are, feeling at peace with yourself. If you're down here in a state of disharmony, that void in between can sometimes seem massive. And as Dr. Bark says, when there's a void between your thinking and who you should be, is when dis-ease sets in. Okay, just food for thought. When you see yourself as someone important, you work on yourself, you value yourself, you do things for you every day, your vibration starts to go up. Your self-worth goes up, your value goes up. And then what's going on in your world around you starts to change, it starts to shift. You feel better in yourself because you're changing who you are. It doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. It just means at the moment something's gotten out of balance. Start where you are. Listen to this beautiful music, which I'm going to finish with at the end. Go over and listen to more of Stephen's music and see which one resonates with you. Because his tunes, I know, resonate with different chakras within the body. So if you're not ready for that one today, maybe that's what you need. If you're not ready for that one, that's what you need. Make a choice, because that's what you need for you. I've just had a lovely chat with Steve, and we're going to do a little series of healing meditations with his music. Such a privilege to work with someone who is so in touch with what his passion is in life. And I would say for you, if you're not in touch with what you're destined to do right now, it's often why that disharmony feels like it's setting in and you feel out of balance. When you start working towards your passion, there will still be obstacles, there will still be tests, there will still be challenges, but every one of those is an opportunity for you to grow. Keep taking those challenges, keep stepping up the plate, keep stepping up. Step away, take some time for you, 4.5 minutes, that's all it takes, just to reassess who you are, to realign who you are, and then step into the next step. Do you know, if you do one thing for you every day, that's 365 things that you've done for yourself. It's like taking your car for service 365 times. It's going to run better, and so will you. If you keep neglecting you, it gets run down, you get run down. I bet you wouldn't run your car for the next year without servicing it, without filling it up with love and petrol and oil and all those things it needs. So why do we assume that we're going to get up to there when we've done nothing for ourselves down here? This is just my message for you, because music is the heart and soul. For me, it lifts up, and you don't need to explain it, you don't need to understand it, but just know it's because you've resonated with that music that you're feeling yourself. Please take just 4.5 minutes, as I'm going to put the track back on at the end, and listen to your breath. Just listen and go into your breath. Listen to the music. And if thoughts pop in, just breathe into them and let them go. Breathe into them and let them go. I don't want to talk over it, because I think the music speaks for itself. But there is a lot you can do for yourself. Often we wait for something outside of ourselves to make that feeling right. It doesn't come. or it might come temporarily, and then we sink back down. Do something for yourself each day, even if it's listening to this gentle piece of music, which you can find up on Spotify and all those other beautiful channels. Remember, you are important. When you make you a priority, your life gently falls back into place, and you will see your things, your world, your whole new opportunities become more clear around you and within you. So thank you for listening, and I'm going to play this music, and then I've got to let it just fade away. Just go, enjoy your day, knowing that you've done something really important for you today. This is your time. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Gently closing your eyes. Just breathing gently down into your body. Very gently. If you need to fidget, get comfortable, just do so. This is your time. Two Worlds by Steve Norton. Truly beautiful, and so are you. Until next time, take the time to be at peace within yourself, because you do deserve it. Thank you.